Frieza just pulled up on Beast Gohan in the previous chapter of this What If, but it didn't quite go as expected. After a semi-lengthy battle, Gohan's Beast Kamehameha yeeted Frieza from Universe 7. He came all the way to Earth to challenge Beast Gohan, but was forced all the way up out of there. If you're completely new to this series, be sure to go check out the previous 2 chapters of What If Black Frieza confronted Beast Gohan, because as far as the rivalry between these two goes, it's just the beginning. Now, Gohan and Piccolo don't know that Frieza got pushed out of Universe 7 and straight to Universe 8. They don't know about the wormhole at all, but Goku and Vegeta do know because they were watching all of this from planet Beerus and had Whis there to explain everything to them. Anyways, let's see just what Frieza has to say. He looks around, and while he can sense traces of life, all of them are foreign to him. He can tell that he's no longer in Universe 7, but he has no idea how he can make his way back there. Frieza would then travel off and enter the nearest galaxy and lands on the only inhabitable planet that he can find. Something immediately seems off to him though. The planet he lands on next is about 10 times the size of the last one, give or take, but it had nowhere near the same amount of life on it seemed like at first. It does confuse him because when you have such a massive landscape but not enough people to inhabit it, the majority of the communities would probably just be saturated in a few specific regions, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. He could sense them moving around though, interacting with each other, just living life all around in every corner of the world. What was going on here? Frieza just relaxes himself and approaches one of the locals, but apparently the people of this planet don't communicate using any verbal language. Still, Frieza starts noticing a pattern. There's a disconnect between their physical bodies and the aura that they're giving off. It does take Frieza a few minutes, but he eventually figures it out. When it comes to the residents of this obscure planet located at the end of Universe 8, most of their bodies exist only in the form of pure energy. It's been 3 days since the fight with Frieza. Gohan has met up with Piccolo to train, and essentially he wants to learn how he can start using Beast more intentionally. After all, it's not a real weapon unless you can figure out how to utilize it whenever you want. Well, what do you think? For me, Frieza felt like he was at least several times stronger than Cell Max, Gohan asked Piccolo. Oh yeah, for sure. If he was the one who fought Cell Max instead of you, he probably would have one-shot him as well, but is he stronger than you? That's the question, Gohan, Piccolo replies. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure because when I'm in my Beast transformation, it's like I just lose sense of my own power. Almost like I'm intoxicated by strength. The whole idea that there might be someone out there still stronger than me just ceases to exist when I'm like that, Gohan explains. The two of them go back to training, and although they spar for an entire day, Gohan keeps failing to use his new transformation. As expected, he still needs that trigger. Listen, Gohan. Remember, not even Goku could use Ultra Instinct at will. You'll eventually figure it out, but keep in mind that from now on, you must always prepare your mind for any kind of fight, Piccolo continues. There's a reason Frieza came for you. Gohan, you've already surpassed Goku and Vegeta, and with that, you've also inherited their responsibility. If it ever comes down to it, it's on you to keep this universe safe. Gohan looks up at the sky. Does this mean he has to choose? That form still has authority over me. It's like being possessed, he says. Well, it's still you. Tame it, domesticate it, do whatever you gotta do, but figure it out, Piccolo replies. Back at planet Beerus, Vegeta asks Whis if they should be concerned about Universe 8 now that Frieza is there. Whis explains that there's really no need to worry about anything. If something does go south, the Destroyer and Angel of Universe 8 will be able to handle it. Besides, Universe 8 is one of the 4 universes whose mortal level is above 7, so if Beerus or Whis were to get involved, it'd reflect badly on the actual authorities of this universe. Oh, so does that mean there's a chance that he may find someone or something stronger than himself, Vegeta asks? Who knows, but he'll definitely find something at least. It's Universe 8 after all. You can't even compare it with Universe 7, Whis explains. Now, finally returning to Universe 8 and Frieza. He had already left the planet he was on previously and is currently diving deeper and deeper into the universe. He'd been intrigued with what other kinds of species he was going to find here. And although Frieza is still too egotistical to admit it himself, he was curious to see if this universe could make him stronger somehow. Though as he enters a somewhat lively solar system, Frieza gets confronted by a group of people. Might there be a problem? Frieza asks. Yes, who are you? Do you have permission to enter this region? Their leader asks. No, but let's just say I'm a tourist. I didn't know I needed permission. Can I get it from you, perhaps? Frieza asks. They all look at each other with this confused expression on their face like, what is this lizard talking about? And in case you were wondering why Frieza didn't just blow them up, it was because his ultimate plan was still the same. He wanted to be an interversal ruler, and with that in mind, he knew he wasn't strong enough just yet, because if he were to cause a big spectacle in Universe 8, he'll have to answer to a god of destruction. All of them start talking amongst themselves, wondering if they should allow Frieza in or not, and because they were taking so long to decide, Frieza speaks up again. Is there something wrong, officer? Are you guys the Intergalactic Space Police or something? Oh no, we're just the border control. There have been a lot of space pirates recently, and so in order to make sure that the weaker races stay safe, we patrol the surroundings of this solar system, he explains. I see. That makes sense, but it does seem a bit weird. Like, let's say I'm a space pirate. Could I just force my way in, Frieza asks? Now he asked in a lighthearted tone still, but the officer could tell by the look in his eyes that he was serious. Well, I guess you could do that, but in that case, Lord Liquor himself would pay you a visit. He takes this universe's mortal level very seriously after all. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it because in the past 1,000 years, not one genocide has taken place anywhere in this universe, he explains. Oh yeah? Then what about the space pirates, Frieza asks. What about them, the officer questions. I mean, aren't you checking for them because they cause trouble, Frieza asks. Yeah, but it's not like that. We just need to make sure that they've gotten permission from their home planet, he explains. This is when it finally starts to click in Frieza's head. Universe 8 isn't anything like Universe 7. These so-called space pirates aren't even criminals, they're more like explorers. Unlike Beerus, the destroyer of this universe has incorporated complete law and order over everything. Frieza wonders what would have happened if he were born in this universe. How different would his life have been? Then he just starts laughing frantically. Frieza apologizes and explains that he's from the outermost edge of the universe and can't seem to find his way back, and how he's also having memory loss, so that's why he forgot about the border patrol and everything. It was all a bunch of lies, of course, but the peaceful border patrol nonetheless lets him through and even instructs him about all the planets he can visit and maybe even find a new home on. The reason he lied to them was because he would have gotten reported to Lord Liquor as an outsider, and that would have escalated things almost immediately. And as Frieza lands on an aquatic, glistening planet, he starts reminiscing a little about how much he's matured. He matured and he was rewarded with strength. That isn't so bad. He was especially pleased with himself for not harming any of those shadowy people from the first planet. If he had done something, he may have already been in battle with Lord Liquor. Frieza starts strolling around the planet, and unlike the previous planet he was on, the size to population ratio on this one is a little bit more normal. The inhabitants are humanoid, blue-skinned people, and they actually even managed to impress Frieza with their technology and architecture. Almost feels like I'm on a vacation, Frieza says, but little did he know that his entire getaway was about to be cut short. Frieza was busy enjoying the beauty of the planet when Korn, the angel of Universe 8, tells Liquor that there's been a disturbance on the outer edge of the universe. The Kage tribe that had been living on a remote planet for millions of years has just suddenly disappeared. Lord Liquor sits up and his entire demeanor changes. What? Tell me everything, he says. Of course, my lord. From what I can tell, it seems that Frieza guy from Universe 7 somehow ended up here. He's the last person who paid that planet a visit, Korn explains. Liquor immediately gets up and his aura becomes aggressively violent. He was furious now. What are you planning on doing, sir? Korn asks. For starters, tell me where this Frieza guy is. After we're done with him, we'll pay the Kage planet a visit. But right now, the important thing is to pluck out any notable threats to the stability of this universe, he states. Sure enough, Korn takes him right to the planet Frieza was on, a planet called Emu. Frieza may have been enjoying some sightseeing, but even for a seasoned god of destruction, it's hard to hide as much malice and anger that Liquor had in this moment. So Frieza was able to sense that something dangerous was headed his way, and of course, Liquor and Korn are right in front of him the very next second. Frieza tries to get up and properly greet the destroyer because obviously he isn't here in good faith, but before he could even say a word, Liquor just pulls out his hand and blasts him with a Hakai. The entitlement of you mortals never ceases to amaze me, Liquor states. I have no interest in learning why you're here, but disruptions will not be tolerated. But to the shock of Liquor and Korn, when they turn back around, Frieza has transformed, and he was holding that same Hakai in his hand now that was supposed to destroy him a moment ago, as he chuckles at Liquor, saying this is no way to treat a new guest to your universe. At the same time this was happening, this is when Vegeta asks Whis a very important question. What if Frieza ends up fighting the destroyer of Universe 8 after all? What then? Would he win? No, he'd lose, Whis replies. So what exactly is going on in Universe 8 right now? Frieza himself said that he's glad he didn't do anything to those Kage people, then why? Especially because he's been actively trying to avoid a fight with Liquor. But now that he has no other choice but to retaliate, does Frieza even stand a chance in a full power face-off against the God of Destruction? Well, in Chapter 4 of If Black Frieza Confronted Beast Gohan, we are finally gonna get to see just how strong Black Frieza is in comparison to a God of Destruction.